Oh, hello. We're gonna open some Acolyte figures. I've really been looking forward to these. We've got Jedi Master Soul and May the Assassin. I believe these were the first two Vintage Collection figures that were announced for the line. And they were announced before the show even came out, which was like, yes. They didn't come out until 2 months after the show aired and 1 month after the show was canceled, but here they are. And yeah, in case you're new here and you don't know me personally, my general take on all things 3 3/4 inch for Star Wars is I would always rather get new characters. I've got so many Lukes. I have actually stopped buying Lukes. And contrary to Hasbro's financial strategy, I'm also not buying anyone else who's wearing Mandalorian armor or Clone Trooper armor. So that's like 90% of the line. I've been saving a lot of money. But new characters that have never been in plastic before, I am all about it. I was hoping to have Osha for this video as well. My pre-order for that is still coming, but these guys dropped in yesterday. I pre-ordered them from Fourth Moon Toys, by the way. This is not paid promotion. I just happen to live in Toronto, and that place is like a 15-minute walk from my house. Tell child me that there was gonna be not just a toy store, friends, a Star Wars toy store, and it's 15 minutes from my house. So I'm gonna pre-order everything from them for the rest of my life. Like, they've got a lifetime customer now. Let's start with May. May is VC328. Oh, she's limber. Oh man, look at that. That's already really good. And when they come out of the package and they're already kind of standing like you would be standing if you got pulled out of a piece of plastic, I'm very, very into it. I am not convinced that they nailed the hair, which probably at this scale would have been next to impossible anyway, but that does not really read like May's braids. I think the soft goods robe in this case might actually work. I'm very touchy on soft goods sometimes because they can get pretty bulky, but this is very thin fabric. She comes with her mask so that she can go to the noodle shop and kill Trinity. You want to spend a whole lot of time, try getting knives out of a Vintage Collection package. They're so small. Yeah, that is really good. And obviously one of the best, not just the best probably single costume design on this series, but this is genuinely one of the best costume designs I think Star Wars has done. It's just gorgeous. I'm disappointed about what happened to that show. You know, first of all, because I liked it, you know, I enjoyed that show. I was very leaned forward watching that show. I was always very engaged with it, very interested in what was happening. I liked the story. I liked the characters. People say they didn't like episode 4. I loved episode 4 because the anticipation at the end of that episode when the stranger floats down from the sky, it's just like the anticipation was like delicious. It was like pure visual storytelling. I just loved it. Second of all, because I like this for Star Wars, you know, like I just, like a lot of people, I just don't want any more reruns of stuff that happened to Luke and his family. It's been done. Like Star Wars to me was always so much bigger than one character and one family. And third, obviously, you know, it was just the latest in what seems like it's going to be a recurring every couple of years reminder that this fandom is absolutely rancid, just full of many, many people who are awful. And, you know, it's not even a majority, it's not even a strong minority, but it's a very loud minority, and they make the fandom horrible for so many people. And if those people happen to be not white, if those people happen to be not straight, if those people happen to be not men, they make it even worse. And it's just heartbreaking. Like, it's so at odds with what I think, not just, you know, Star Wars is supposed to be like, but I mean, this is not what being into something is supposed to be like. You know, certain YouTube personalities who shall remain nameless, but let's say a certain fellow Canadian. You know, Amanda Stenberg went on her Instagram and made a very wise video about her experience of making the show and, you know, thanking the fans for their support of it, but also kind of inevitably talking about the fact that she's just been dogpiled by racists, misogynists, and queerphobes kind of since the moment this series was announced. And a certain Canadian YouTube personality was like, well, I better make a response about this. It's like, it's not about you, and it's not your place to respond, you know? I recognize that personality. I went through the prequels. I've been with Star Wars from the beginning, but I went through the prequels, and I recognize that personality, that person who's like, you owe me a debate. You owe me a debate. And I'm like, no one owes you anything. An opinion is not an argument waiting to happen to be had, any of that. It's an opinion. And let people have theirs. This is usually the part where I get into trouble, because inevitably someone will be like, well, I just have a legitimate concern about the show. I'm not a racist. I just have something to say. And it's like, first of all, I genuinely believe in the presence of bad faith arguments, good faith arguments are kind of irrelevant. So even if you have the best good faith argument in the world, look who you're standing beside. Because the people who liked The Acolyte aren't the ones in Amanda's comments saying the worst things imaginable. So why are you standing on that side of the scrimmage line, proudly putting up your hand and saying, look, I'm not with these guys, but I think something important needs to be said here. I guarantee it's not as important as what, again, marginalized people are going through in what is being euphemistically called the culture war right now. It's not. Sorry. Okay, let's talk about the Jedi Master Soul. Who, by the way, you don't know him, so this is going to not matter to you at all. But that guy right there, that guy looks an enormous amount like my Uncle Joey. Ooh, that's right. So he's a much more standard vintage collection figure. Jedi. His robe, again, soft goods robe. It's pretty good. I'm interested in sort of how it looks a month from now, because kind of the problem is that once they get expanded, they never de-expand again. But he looks appropriately surly, because I don't know if you've heard, but Saul is carrying a lot of pain. Spoilers for The Acolyte. He's done some very bad things in his life. Now, don't let your Jedi get so obsessed with a child that he meets on a planet one day that he basically ends up, not directly, but indirectly causing the death of an entire colony of people. Saul comes with his lightsaber both ignited and not ignited for the belt. There's the ignited one. This is a great lightsaber design. And obviously the lightsaber fight with Saul, several of them, but the one in episode 5 and the one in episode 8 are like legendary, all-time great Star Wars lightsaber duels. That's why I'm hoping that eventually, I think it's a reasonably good chance that we're going to get the Stranger in Vintage Collection. But what I really would like is Jecki as well, so that you can actually have that three-way fight between herself, the Stranger, and Soul. I don't know how realistic it is that they're going to keep making figures from this show, but I hope they do, because I would also really like to see a second Osha, the one in the episode 8 outfit where she with the bled lightsaber, with Soul's bled lightsaber. So that's my acolytes so far. When I get Osha, we'll open them too. Until then, this twin is without a twin, so we're not done yet, Acolyte friends. Which hopefully is true for the entire Acolyte franchise. I still don't think it's impossible that one of these days someone will be like, oh yeah, we're making more of that show. It would make me very happy if they were.